People laugh when I tell them walking has been one of my biggest tools for weight loss. They roll their eyes and say, walking doesn't do anything. But I know the truth because walking has carried me out of the heaviest chapter of my life. I used to weigh over 300 pounds, and today I'm still on the journey, still chipping away at the weight one step at a time. Walking has been one of the main sources of my calorie deficit, and it has transformed my life in ways I never imagined. Now, I'm not an expert, and this isn't medical advice. I'm just sharing my experience, the things that have actually worked for me after years of struggle, failure, and starting over again. And in this video, I want to break down exactly why walking works for people like us, why so many people get it wrong when they dismiss it, and how you can build a simple game plan to hit your steps every day. I'll talk about having a route, making enough time, even if it's 2 hours a day, using the right gear, and most importantly, how to treat walking like a job you show up for no matter what, because walking only works if you do it with consistency, day after day, like clockwork. If you've ever doubted whether walking can actually help you lose weight, I want this video to give you not just answers, but hope. The kind of hope that comes from hearing it from someone who's still in the fight. For me, walking became the foundation of my progress. It was never flashy, and it was never easy. In the beginning, it was almost embarrassing how slow I moved. My legs felt heavy, my breathing was labored, and sometimes even just walking for 10 minutes felt like an accomplishment. But that's the point. Those 10 minutes added up, and soon it wasn't 10 minutes anymore. Soon it was 30, then 45. And eventually, I was consistently hitting 10,000 steps in a single day. It takes me an hour and a half to 2 hours to get it done, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not trying to win a race or prove how fast I can go. My only job is to hit the number because I know what that number does for me over time. There's a lot of noise online, a lot of people on forums who love to tell you walking doesn't matter. They'll say things like, walking doesn't burn enough calories, or if you want to lose weight, you need to be in the gym lifting heavy or doing HIIT workouts. And maybe for some people that's true. If you're already close to your goal weight, if you're just trying to lose that last 10 or 20 pounds, you probably do need more intensity. But those people aren't me. They aren't you. They haven't lived in a body carrying hundreds of extra pounds. For us, walking is not only enough, it's the best place to start. Because it's safe, it's sustainable, it's something we can actually do every day without destroying our joints or burning out in a week. So when someone says walking doesn't do anything, I just smile because I know they don't speak for me. And they don't speak for anyone who has been in my shoes. What really makes walking powerful is consistency. Anybody can push themselves hard for a week. Anybody can starve themselves for a month. But can you show up every day for months, for years, and keep moving forward? That's the real test. Walking isn't about intensity, it's about commitment. It's about deciding that no matter what, you're going to put on your shoes and step outside, whether it's sunny or raining, whether you feel like it or not. For me, the steps have become a kind of non-negotiable appointment with myself, like a job I have to show up for, because that's the only way this works. But walking doesn't just happen. You need a plan. That starts with having a route. I've learned that if you don't know where you're going, you'll find excuses to quit. So I've mapped out paths that I know will give me the steps I need. Some days it's one long loop, other days it's shorter loops that I repeat, but I always know how far I need to go. That structure keeps me honest. And then there's the gear. You don't need expensive equipment, but you do need the right shoes. When you're obese, every step comes with extra weight, and bad shoes can mean knee pain, back pain, and injuries that take you out for weeks. A good pair of shoes is not a luxury, it's survival. And then there's time. This is the hardest part for most people, and it was for me too. Walking for 2 hours every day can feel impossible when you first think about it. But here's the truth. Most of us waste at least that much time scrolling on our phones, watching TV, or doing things that don't move our lives forward. When I reframed walking as trading wasted hours for progress, everything changed. 2 hours a day started to feel less like a burden and more like an investment. Every step became proof that I was choosing myself instead of choosing excuses. Of course, walking is only one part of the equation. You can't outwalk a bad diet. I had to learn that the hard way. If I walked 10,000 steps and then went home and binged on junk food, I wasn't going to make progress. But walking paired with even modest improvements in diet, that was where the magic happened. Walking created the calorie deficit, diet supported it, and together they became the foundation of my weight loss. I don't follow a perfect diet. I don't always get it right. But walking has been the glue that holds it all together. Even on days when I slip up with food, I still walk, and that consistency keeps me moving forward, even when everything else feels shaky. The thing about walking is that it changes more than your body. It changes your mind. Every time I hit my step count, I prove to myself that I can keep promises to myself. That builds confidence in a way no number on the scale ever could. The scale is unpredictable. Some weeks it moves, some weeks it doesn't, no matter how hard you try. But the steps, those are always there. Those are always in my control. And for someone who has lived with obesity, who has felt powerless for so long, that feeling of control is everything. There have been days I didn't want to walk, days when I was tired, when my body ached, when my mind begged me to quit. And those are the days that mattered most. Because it's easy to walk when you're motivated. It's easy when the sun is shining and you feel good. But when it's raining, when your legs hurt, when you're drained from life and you still show up anyway, that's when walking becomes more than exercise. That's when it becomes discipline. And discipline is what carries you through when motivation disappears. Walking has also taught me patience. In a world obsessed with quick fixes and instant results, walking forces you to slow down. You won't see dramatic changes overnight, but what you will see is steady progress. One step, 1 pound, one victory at a time. And over months, that progress becomes undeniable. The clothes start to fit differently. The stairs become easier. The mirror begins to reflect not just physical change, but the strength of someone who refused to quit. So can you really lose weight walking 10,000 steps a day? From my own experience, yes, absolutely. But not because walking is some miracle trick. Walking works because it's something you can actually stick with. It doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require special skills or expensive memberships. It just requires that you show up every single day and put one foot in front of the other. And when you do that over and over again, it adds up to something bigger than you can imagine. I know the critics will keep talking. I know there will always be people who dismiss walking as pointless, but I've lived the opposite. I've felt my body change, my mind change, my life change, step by step. Walking has carried me out of the heaviest chapter of my life, and it's still carrying me forward. I'm not at the finish line yet. I still have work to do, but I know this: walking works. And if you've ever wondered whether it's worth it, I want you to know it is. It might be slow, it might be hard, but if you stick with it, walking can carry you out of your heaviest chapter too. If this message resonates with you, I'd love for you to join me on this journey. Subscribe to the channel, share your story in the comments, and let's walk this road together. because walking may look simple, but it's powerful. And together, step by step, we can keep moving toward the lives we deserve.